Very good evening to all of you. We already had two lectures of evolution. In the first lecture, we had an introduction of what evolution is and what made scientists think about evolution. In our second lecture, we had excellent video as well as description of the steps of evolution, how Earth was created and how life was originated on Earth. We will talk about evolution of plant, animal, and human separately at the later part of this chapter. Today, the topic of discussion will be proofs of evolution. So, what are the proofs we have which can directly or indirectly indicate that world is evolved? So, we already discussed about these things and you people confirm that you don't have any doubts. So we are directly moving to this part which is known as evidences of evolution. Before we move ahead, I must tell you the two people who are god of this evolution, they are the scientists who open mind of others towards the evolution where AI, Oparin, and the other person was JBS Halden. The whole work of chemical evolution was proposed by them. They chronologically proposed how from non-living entities life must have originated. And actually there is a famous book of Oparin which is known as Origin of Life. So in entrance examinations, they lot many times ask about the books and their authors. So you can remember that this book was written by Origin of Life was written by Oparin, and later on Halden supported it for this purpose. Now the next question that I would like to ask you or I wish to quote here is about a person whose name was Herbert Spencer. This person is renowned because he coined the term evolution. The term evolution actually means unfold. Or if you want to describe it further, you can write that it is known as the process of continuous change. And I think no name can be better than this specific name called evolution. So without their intervention, without their contribution, the branch like evolutionary biology is something which is incomplete. So there were too many scientists. It's not work of one person. You know about Urey and Miller. I told you about Miami University experiment and Sydney Fox. So these are all scientists who contributed towards the theory of evolution. Now I wish to share in science we don't believe in simple talking and proposal of idea. We require certain kind of proofs which can talk about the concept of evolution. So these evolutions are literary evidences are of various types. One by one, we will deal about them. So first type is known as paleontological evidence. So paleontology is a branch of science which refers to the study of fossil. So what is a fossil? Many a times fossil can be of two types. One is the fossil which is petrified and another is impression. All of you should visit museum. There you can find some petrified fossils or maybe impressions. Here in Ahmedabad, in Indora Park, they have fossils of dinosaur because it was discovered in the Indora Gaon, which was a great discovery. So petrified fossil is something where the whole animal or the bone or the part of animal is turned into stone. And in case of impression, while forming the rock, the animal was trapped between the layers. So the impression, that is chap of that animal, is preserved in that layer of rock. So in both cases, you can understand these were slowly and steadily discovered by the scientists because as they excavated different places, sometimes they expected and excavated, sometimes without expectation, the fossils came into picture. So there is a method called carbon dating. Have you heard about this carbon dating method, class?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it, Yesha?
मैम मतलब कार्बन कितना कितना अमाउंट में प्रेजेंट था अभी और कितने मतलब जो प्रेजेंट था वो कौन सी साल में था?
So बेटा कार्बन तो तब भी प्रेजेंट होगा, अब भी प्रेजेंट होगा because we all are part of carbon world. What carbon? Can you like elaborate? Chalo, let me tell you. Okay. It is known as radioactive carbon dating. So the process is not simple carbon dating. It is known as radioactive carbon dating. What is the mass number of carbon? Class? Atomic number, mass number, I guess you studied in chemistry. What is the mass of carbon atom?
12.
So this is the normal one. In radioactive carbon, it is 14 due to presence of extra 2 neutrons. Okay. So this radioactive carbon is present in a specific percentage in all organisms. You must have solved percentage of abundance sums in grade 11 first chapter. So scientists look for by knowing the formula of half-life of carbon radioactive, they look for how much carbon is left in the fossil. For example, initially it was 100 microgram. Now, how much? So, if you know the half-life, you can easily calculate that how old it is. So, this is how by measuring the amount of radioactive carbon present in a sample, we can easily identify that how old it is. But let me tell you, beta, we have limited access to counting the time because after some time, or rather to say, after a period of time, all carbon atoms, that is C14 carbon atoms, breakdown, and there is no trace of radioactive carbon. So carbon dating technique can be useful for detection of age up to a certain period. उसके पहले के एज को डिटरमाइन करना है, then the carbon dating will not be successful. So scientists need to be sure कि अगर कोई रिपोर्ट कर रहा है that this fossil is the it's actually a prehistorical animal or plant, we need to check it via different methods. I wish to quote over here, there is one book called Deception Point, written by one of my favorite science fiction writer. His name is Dan Brown, who is a writer of Da Vinci Code also. So you can read that how the falsely created fossils were presented in front of world to say that it was related to prehistorical era. So to avoid such confusion, it is very important for a scientist to check if whatever evidences are portrayed are true to the time or not. So fossils definitely speak about the evolution. Here you can see how scientists are excavating the fossils, and you can see that these are the petrified fossils, like body parts or bones are available. Here are the fossils which are impressions. Understood how fossil can be helpful and how it can be used as an evidence? These organisms do not exist anymore. So their presence shows that life is changing, it is ever changing. It's not, the theories are not correct that world was having same number of species from the first day. Okay. Next evidence that is highlighted by scientists was the embryogeny or embryological evidence. What is this about? Where life was originated first? Students, what was the location of origin of life, in land, water or air?
Water.
Very good, Priyanshi. So the embryological evidences say about the common ancestry. How? You know that I told you while I was teaching you that water is important at the life cycle of every organism. But some organisms are aquatic, they born in water and they live their life and die in water. And some are terrestrial, they require water, obviously, इसीलिए जल का दूसरा नाम जीवन होता है. But they don't live in water. But life cycle of all organisms start in watery conditions, especially in animals. As you people are aware of the fact that in case of human also, the child is present inside the amniotic fluid, inside the amniotic sac. So embryological evidences are quite evident in all vertebrates. If you look into the embryo stages of vertebrate animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, bird and human, you can see striking similarities which no longer visible at the adult stage. Adult stage में आप एक पंछी को और एक ह्यूमन को देखोगे तो आपको लगेगा इसमें क्या सिमिलरिटी. But at embryological stage they are shockingly similar. This was first proposed by the Ernst Haeckel. He says that ontogeny recapitulates the phylogeny. So phylogeny is the evolutionary relationship. Ontogeny is the embryological structure. So he proved that the embryological stages describe the phylogenical, that is evolutionary relationship of all these animals. So what do you think? What it suggests? If all vertebrates are having similarity in embryo structure, what do you think it is suggesting towards, beta? Any idea? क्या suggest कर रहा होगा ये चीज? Let me tell you, it suggests that all of us must be having
common ancestor.
Very good, Yesha. So they must be having common ancestor. So all vertebrate and embryos develop a row of gill slits. Trust me, we human beings are also having gill slits at embryo stage, although we are breathing through lungs. So these gill slits are no more operational in us, but all of them have it. Next is notochord is present in all vertebrate embryo. Later on it is converted into vertebral column, but this presence of notochord shows that we are connected to other chordatas. So these are the embryos where you can see that fish, reptile, bird and human, all of them have pharyngeal gill slits and all of them have the tail present in them. Okay, although it is not applicable to all organisms, but while observing vertebrate embryo, he looked into this striking similarities. Can we move ahead, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So the next idea is comparative anatomy and morphology. So here I wish to share another material. So you can see how fossil records, you know, this is about trilobites. Their fossils are quite evidently found in seabed. See different types of fossils. I wanted to show you all variation. Can you see this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Jurassic Park is actually based on this. You can see this scorpion is trapped inside the amber secreted by the plant. Plant ने जो amber या उसकी जो laxative material है उसके अंदर ये like scorpion is trapped, and that's why it is well preserved. So it can be termed also as a fossil. So it proves that earth is old and life is also old. And as some of them do not exist nowadays, which prove that life on earth is changed. Okay, so you can see here the evolutionary fossil of a bird. You can see this is the beak, this is the skeleton part, and these are the wings. This is this Archaeopteryx, which is also known as Thoradactyl, is a connecting link between the birds and the reptiles. You know, in animal kingdom, in vertebrata, reptiles come, then the bird comes. So it is having properties of both of them. So it was thought that the birds must have evolved from the reptiles only. Okay. So let us move ahead. These are the proposed diagram of Archaeopteryx. You can see. So we all know that life originated in water. So we have fossils of aquatic animals, we have fossils of terrestrial animals. So some links are missing. Some people propose such idea, but no such fossil is available. This structure is actually proposed structure, but a structure like this is found, and this can be considered as a connecting link between the aquatic animals and the land animals. So you can see how rivers way they visualized or made us visualize that how aquatic animals slowly and steadily converted into terrestrial animals. But the beauty of evolution is when terrestrial animals are formed, not all aquatic animals were converted into terrestrial animals. So we have the aquatic animals also as well as the terrestrial animals also. So as I said, it's very interesting. You can see these fossils. So these are tetrapods. You can see the limb is similar to the fins, and this type of limb is can be used comfortably on land also. So now I just wish to talk about the comparative anatomy and morphology. Here I wish to say that if we look into the anatomy and morphology of animals, lot many similarities and dissimilarities can be seen. For example, anatomical structure, that is the limb structure or the morphological structure of limbs, can have similarities or dissimilarities. So we are going to talk about two types of organs which are known as homologous organ and analogous organ. Okay. Now, what do we mean by homology? Homologous organs are organs which are observed in different types of organisms, which are having different functions altogether. But in spite of having different functions, they have striking similarity into the structure. For example, forelimb of whales. Whale की forelimb किस काम पे आती होगी बेटा? What should be the work performed by the forelimb of whale? Class? Whale अपना forelimb मतलब front वाले appendage से क्या करता होगा? Class, whale. Have you ever heard about whale?
Yes, ma'am.
So what must be done by whale by using the forelimb?
Swim.
It is used for swimming. For cheetah, what it must be doing?
Running or walking.
Great. For birds.
Flying.
So you can see all of them are having different functions. And if you look into their appearance from outside, you can see that all of them are different. But if you look into the internal structure, you will be able to see that all of them are having humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. Similarly, the thorns of Bougainvillea, which is having the purpose of protection, and tendrils of Cucurbita. So, what is the role of tendrils? What it does? Have you
Support.
ever? Yes, Dish?
Support.
It is there for support. It helps in coiling around some substance and help to climb. So both the thorns of bougainvillea and tendrils of cucurbita are having different functions. But if you look into their structure intricately, you can find similarities. So let me share the picture. It will be helpful for you to understand. See, every part of the limb is having this humerus part in case of everyone. Then radius and ulna are two bones. It is there in every case. Then the carpal part, metacarpal part and phalanges part. There may be modifications. For example, in horse, they have hoof. For bird, it is modified into a shape. For human, we are having fingers to grasp, but internally they are same. So this type of organs are known as homologous organs. So it is said over here that animals with different structures, they look under skin. When we look under skin, we have the different function but same bones. So many a times, it is misunderstood by students, and it is observed that they get confused between homologous and analogous. So homo means same and logos means information. Here logos means homology means similarity in the structure. So homologous organs are known as organs which are having similarity in the structure but difference in their function. But it's not always applicable in all cases. There are other type of striking observation made by scientists that many a times the opposite thing exists, that organisms part which are going for same function is not always structurally same. For example, if you take wings of butterfly and wings of bird, do you think these two wings will have same structure? Class?
No, ma'am.
Inside bird's wing, you have bones. So it is very strong one. But in case of butterfly, it is very fragile. Okay. If you look into the flipper of whale and flipper of penguin, it is different. If you see that tuber of sweet potato is a modified root, whereas potato is a modified stem. So, analogy and homology are relation with the convergent and divergent evolution. Okay, so let us have a look into the analogous organs too. For example, eye of human and octopus. You can see that striking difference. We have optic nerve, they have optic ganglion. So this is the dissimilarity, although both of them perform the same function. Wings of butterfly and bird, tuber of potato and sweet potato. So now we will have a look into so you can see more pictures over here. If you look into the tail, all of them have same function, that it is the part responsible for deciding the direction while swimming, but their structure is different. Now we will talk about convergent and divergent evolution. Can anyone tell me what do we mean by convergent? You studied about this word with reference to lens, isn't it, Beta? Which one is convergent lens, concave or convex? Class, Kausha, Kashish, Krishant, Yeshadish.
Concave?
Concave is convergent or divergent? It is a convergent lens. So if you remember with the concept of lens, light rays meet after passing through the lens. So convergent means a lineage where many light rays are meeting with each other. Same meaning is carried by this convergent evolution. What it says that all of them must have different lineage, but finally they produce similar type of ancestry. So you can see the birds have different wings. This is bird, this is insect, this is bat, but they have one thing common in them, that all of them can fly. Such type of evolution where they do not have a common ancestor and due to which the internal structural similarities are not there, but they have same function, we call such evolution as convergent evolution. Understood everyone what is convergent? Class,
No, ma'am. Can you repeat?
I said the meaning of convergence means meeting at a simple point. So if 3 or 4 parallel lines are there, if all of them are meeting at the same point, leaving their property of parallelism, we call such structure as convergent structure. Something like that. They were parallel. They are meeting at a point. Similar to this bird, the insect, and this bat, all of them are having separate ancestor. Consider A, B, and C. So all of them are having their separate ancestor. So they are going parallelly, but at one point they are common to each other, that is their ability to fly. So in convergent evolution, the ancestors are never ever same, but lineage coming from different ancestry have common characters at the end. If it is something like that, we call it convergent evolution. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Short Priyanshi,
Yes, ma'am.
लॉक किया जाए. Sorry. So
तो
now
मतलब
we
इन
will,
सिंपल वर्ड्स के एंसेस्टर्स कॉमन नहीं होंगे बट फंक्शन और स्ट्रक्चर आउटर स्ट्रक्चर सिमिलर होगा.
function and outer structure similar. If such kind of evolutionary relationship, see, देखो, all these are related to each other. This evolutionary relationship is known as phylogeny. होते हैं ना classification, during classification chapters while your teachers taught to you during grade 11, you must have heard about this word phylogeny. So this phylogeny is something which is describing the similarity, the evolutionary closeness of an organism with the other one. So all of these are having different ancestors. They don't have immediate common ancestors, but they are converging at the point of the flight. That's why convergent evolution. Now, sometimes convergent evolution lead to mimicry. We are all aware of the fact of the concept mimicry. Mimicry means to copy someone. So you can see that there are two like butterfly. One is monarch. If anyone is eating, like anyone means birds or the maybe reptiles are eating this butterfly, it is poisonous, so they cannot eat. This viceroy is mimicking monarch. What do you think may be the intention of mimicking monarch? क्या फायदा होगा उसको? Class, viceroy की structure, yes प्रियांशी?
उसको कोई खाएगा ही नहीं.
हाँ, क्योंकि सबको लगेगा ये monarchy है. So it is saved, isn't it? So this is example of convergent evolution. This is having a separate lineage or ancestry. This is having a separate ancestry. But commonly they are looking into a reason. Here is the reason is not structural or functional. It is the reason is to mimic the monarch butterfly. Okay. So such things you can see that birds do not try to eat them. It is similar to the fly versus bee. Flies may have bee-like structure because then the enemy will not eat them with the fear of getting stung by the bee. So moth versus bee, fly versus bee. So that is all about the convergent evolution. Now we will talk about the next part, that is called vestigial organs. So what do we mean by vestigial organ? Have you ever heard about this word vestigial organ? Class? Okay, I will tell you. There are organs which, like, their remnants are existing in our body. I guess you must have studied about skeletal system of human in grade 11. We have tailbone still present in our body. Okay. So these tailbones are the bones which are responsibly showing us that once upon a time human beings ancestors must be having tail. अभी भी कुछ बच्चों के होते हैं. I miss school days, like जब हमारी schools open होती थी, they have invisible tail in their body, and have lot many similarities with monkey. Although they are higher grade students, but that is a hypothetical concept. I guess you are understanding the joke. होते हैं कि नहीं होते हैं ऐसे बच्चे अपने चारों ओर जिन पे इनविजिबल टेल रहता है? प्रियांशी, do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? So it shows that we are connected to monkeys. But I am not talking about that. There are visible part also present in human being, which shows that we once upon a time had a tail. For example,
yes, appendix.
Appendix is there. Very good, very good. It shows it is remnants of what? I am so happy Priyanshi is speaking after such a long time. Don't know why you people do not interact. So appendix is the remnant of rumen. आपने देखा होगा काऊ में एक अजीब सी बात होती है, वो हमेशा चबाते रहते हैं. अब क्वेश्चन ये है भाई, खाना सामने नहीं है तो तुम इतना क्या चबा रहे हो? So there is a famous song है ना, क्या गम है जिसको चबा रहे हो. तुम इतना जो मुस्कुरा रहे हो, हैव यू हर्ड दिस सॉन्ग? जोकिंग जोकिंग, यू कैन लाफ, नो प्रॉब्लम. सो वो इसीलिए चबाते रहते हैं बिकॉज देयर digestive system have one extra compartment called rumen. So whenever they get food, they engulf the food and keep it in the rumen. और जब चाहिए तब उसको निगल लेता है, वो बाहर से उगल लेता है and it chew and then give it for digestion. ये हम पे होता तो अच्छी बात होती क्या? अच्छा होता अगर ह्यूमन बीइंग में ये पॉसिबिलिटी होती. सबसे खुश कौन होता बताओ मुझे. ऐसा अगर एक रूमेन
तो मैम 4 घंटे के लेक्चर होते फिर भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता.
4 घंटे में भूख लग जाना इज अनयूजुअल. एनीवेज, सबसे खुश कौन होता बताया नहीं तुमने? ऐसा सिस्टम रहने से घर पे कौन सा मेंबर होता है जो सबसे खुश होता है?
मम्मी.
हाँ, खाना बनाने का झमेला ही नहीं तो ब्रेकफास्ट बनाओ, लंच बनाओ, नाश्ता बनाओ, पागल हो जाए इंसान, है ना. सो बट इट्स अनफॉर्चुनेट हमारे पास उसकी फैसिलिटी नहीं है बिकॉज वी बिलीव इन टेस्ट. और कई बार हम मम्मी को, अरे मम्मी कल ही तो भिंडी खाई थी, आज वापस से भिंडी. सो वी हैव सच tantrums in our brain. So it's the thing that we have appendix as a vestigial organ. It's not functional. It is of no use. In fact, in many people, if there is some food particle going inside, it causes infection, and then the person will have a disease called appendicitis, and it is removed. Any other vestigial organ, if you can remember? So let's have a look into the whales. So whales have pelvic and leg bones. I guess all of you know that whales are mammals. Actually, they are not fish. So it shows that once upon a time they must be also walking on land. फिर उनको लगा कि नहीं भाई हम एक्वाटिक ही अच्छे थे, and then they return to aqua, that is water. So सोचो कितने मिस्ट्रीज है. बड़े से शर्लॉक होम्स की इंटरवेंशन चाहिए हमें in evolution. So this part is already discussed. I want all of you to mention about other vestigial organs. Can you tell me in human what are the vestigial organs we have? Class?
Yes.
Any other vestigial organ? I told you about 2. एक तीसरी चीज भी है. You know, if you look into our eyes in a mirror, at this corner of our eye, this part, we have a small red remnant that is called nictitating membrane. So this nictitating membrane is also a vestigial organ, which shows that once upon a time we were aquatic animal, and इसी वजह से ऐसा होता है कि we are having what I can say, we are having the structure which is present in aquatic animals. हमारे पास वो सारे structures present है जो aquatic animals में present होता है. Okay, so in human only we have such similar structures which is connecting us from to our ancestors. तो सोचो ऐसे कितने animals होंगे and how many relationships they have. So is this concept of vestigial organ clear to all of you, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
So who is going to give me the gist of this? That क्या क्या vestigial organs है? ह्यूमन में क्लास
Humans में
ह्यूमंस में अभी मैंने बोला आई वांट यू टू रिपीट इट
मैम
Ma'am,
एक
can
तो
you repeat the
eyes
question?
what are the vestigial organs present in human being appendix one is appendix it is vestigial part of human second
मैम eyes का जो आपने बोला
nictitating membrane it is called nictitating membrane what else
ears
tailbones that is known as coccyx so these are the missing links present in the vestigial organs present in organisms okay I wish to talk about another vestigial organ which is like talked a lot about in पुराण कथाओं में जिसकी बहुत सारी गाथा है और आज भी हमारे जो देवी और देवता होते हैं उनमें वो पार्ट प्रोमिनेंटली शो किया जाता है कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट इट इज इट्स नॉट अ डायरेक्ट प्रूफ ऑफ इवोल्यूशनरी रिलेशनशिप क्योंकि देवी या देवता का कोई फोटोग्राफ हमारे पास एज सच अवेलेबल नहीं है बट दैट पार्ट इज नॉट दैट मच एक्टिव और स्ट्रेंजली देवी देवताओं में वो चीज ड्रॉ की जाती है एंड इट्स एब्सेंट इन आवर डायग्राम्स एनी गेस एनीवन
Wings.
नो नॉट विंग्स सारे देवी देवताओं में का विंग ड्रॉ की जाती है तुम माँ दुर्गा या माँ काली की मुंह याद करो फेस उनका याद करो उनको पता चल जाएगा मैं क्या बोलना चाहती हूँ थर्ड आई हैव यू सीन
Yes, ma'am.
हमें वो आई नहीं ड्रॉ किया जाता बट जहां वो आई उनमें ड्रॉ की जाती है वहां एक ग्लैंड हमारा है कैन एनीवन टेल मी व्हाट इज दैट ग्लैंड कॉल्ड pineal gland it maintains the biological clock of human being and हिंदू शास्त्रों में बोला जाता है जो अपने अंदर कुंडलिनी को जागृत कर लेता है उसकी ये थर्ड आई ओपन हो जाती है and that person is at the ultimate level of yoga okay so we cannot say as we don't have direct proof maybe once upon a time human being had 3 eyes and now the third eye is the vestigial organ of pineal gland who knows just for reference do not write this in the exam just thought to quote it okay so now we will talk about the molecular record molecular record is definitely a missing link between the evolutionary lineage actually if you look into the genetic code part you know one of the property of genetic code is it is unambiguous that is it is applicable to all organisms अगर वो बैक्टीरिया है या फिर ह्यूमन बीइंग है everyone have same genetic code don't you think it is pointing towards that we all must be having same lineage yes or no
Yes, ma'am.
apart from that if you look into the family trees of closely related species all of these animals must be having common ancestor If you look into their DNA structure and RNA structure, lot many common sequences are present. Let me tell you from the point of view of a molecular biologist. In case of prokaryotes, to study the evolutionary relationship, generally जो study की जाती है, that is known as 16S rRNA. Or in case of eukaryotes, जो study किया जाता है, that is 18S rRNA. So this is a ribosomal RNA. It is said that the ancestor wise, this is the most conserved sequence. मतलब evolution में भले 4 अलग-अलग species का determination हुआ होगा, but all of them will have very same 16S and rRNA or 18S rRNA sequence. So जब आप classification किया जाता है बेटा, apart from cross-checking the structure, the reproduction, habitat, and other physiological activities, scientists nowadays check the molecular link also. They check कि क्या वो organism में DNA में similarities हैं, the proteins produced by all vertebrates, that is hemoglobin, have similarities. So it shows that they must be having the common ancestor. और ऐसे ही randomly organisms आए नहीं होंगे. There must be a evolutionary relationship. Okay. Next part that I wish to share is the relationship that is called biogeographical relationship. So what do we mean by biogeographical relationship? The biogeographical relationship means in a region we see specific type of organisms. For example, marsupials are commonly found in Australia. Okay, so this shows that evolution of this type of animal must have started in that region and it is restricted to that region. So ancestry को ये लाता है, it talks about that evolution is there because otherwise common ancestry को highlight नहीं किया जा सकता. Okay, so we will have a elaborate look on this, that while we form the family trees of different types of organism, we can say that the organisms have different location, must be having different types of structure, but they have a common ancestor. Next proof that I wish to mention here is about artificial selection. In your grade 10 book, there was a mention of these cabbages, that is kohlrabi and all. So all these cabbages are artificially selected by human. And here at the human intervention, you can see सारे इतने सारे types के गोभी होते हैं. आपने देखा होगा अभी ब्रोकोली होती है, this is broccoli. एक अपना cauliflower होता है. There is purple color cabbage. We have green cabbage. So these are all done by human being. They selected their as per their choice, and those when I'm selecting and I'm cultivating, that is having better chances of survival. So all of them are basically derived from this plant. You can see it is clearly said कि ये वाले plant जो है उसी में से इन सबका with human intervention it is done. So human performs selective breeding. उन्होंने like wolf में से जो descendant थे, they tried to what I can say domesticate them and use them as companion. तो इसीलिए डॉग्स की भी जो ब्रीड है, दे आर एक्चुअली इवॉल्व फ्रॉम द वुल्फ, एंड स्पेसिफिकली Alsatian breed is having lot many similarities with the wolf. Similarly, birds also, when we domesticate them, we have such lineage. So simple one type of pigeon, you can see so many different types of pigeons were evolved from the artificial selection. Okay, so there are some good and bad effect of artificial selection that we are going to talk when we are going to talk about the theories. So again I am repeating why these proofs, beta, why we need to have these proofs, to prove that जो थियरी था कि गॉड ने 7 दिन में दुनिया बनाई थी, या जो थियरी था कि कभी ना कभी एक मीटियोराइट अर्थ में आया था और इतने ही एनिमल्स और प्लांट्स जितने आज के दिन में अवेलेबल है उतने ही उनमें थे. All these theories can be rejected now with so many proofs. One last thing I wish to mention here, that is about connecting link. This evolution from ribozyme to us doesn't occur in a single day. हम जब वीडियो देखते हैं कि इसमें से ये बना था, उसमें से वो बना था, we see it and complete it within 5 minutes. But ऐसा नहीं है. It took millions of years. And while evolution was taking place, there are certain organisms which are having similarities with two things. I already mentioned about Archaeopteryx. So it is a missing link of bird and reptile. So what are they? They are fossils which are having similarity with the two adjacent phylum or class or division. Okay, so similar type of things are exhibited by various other things, which is, for example, there is fossil observed which is known as Protocerus. It is discovered in Africa, that's why it is also known as African lungfish. So what do you think it can be connecting link of? किसकी connecting link होगा? Lungfish. जिसके पास लंग भी है and it has gills. It can be connecting link of what? Any guess? Pisces के बाद कौन सा क्लास आता है बेटा वर्टिब्रेटा में? फिश के बाद कौन सी क्लास आती है?
Amphibians.
Yes. So it is a connecting link between fish and amphibian. Have you ever heard about platypus? It is called duck-billed platypus also. It is the only egg-laying mammal. What do you think? It is connecting link of what? It is a connecting link of reptiles with nano. Okay, so there are presence of protochordata. Protochordata is a organism which may be the connecting link of non-chordata and chordata. Similarly, it's not only in case of chordata you can find connecting link. Have you ever heard about Euglena? It is a protozoa. So it is photosynthetic. So it was thought that it is a connecting link between plant and animal. क्योंकि इसके पास cell wall नहीं होता, it is having other everything as animal. Only it can go for photosynthesis. Apart from that, we can talk about peripatus. And peripatus is a connecting link between arthropods and annelids. So these are all animals which shows that once upon a time there was evolution. Okay, so that's all from my side related to the theory of evolution's proof that once upon a time there was evolution and God didn't create life on 7 days. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So we finished 2 parts in our lectures. One is what is the origin of life? What is the origin of earth? What were the theories about origin of life? Like panspermia, abiogenesis theory, chemical evolution, then spatial creation theory. In second part of our lecture, that is today's lecture, we proved that these evidences are neglecting all these 3 theories of panspermia and spatial creation and abiogenesis, and say firmly that the chemical evolution theory proposed by Oparin and Haldane is the correct one. They, along with that, proposed the potential concept of creation of life on Earth. But still we don't know how evolution goes for. Evolution कैसे काम करता है? What are the steps that occur while a new species is created by evolution of an old one? जब old one से new बनता है, old one का क्या होता है? Is it still remaining in the population या फिर old ही new में convert होता है? In our next lecture, we will talk about the theories of evolution in sense. Scientists ने कैसे evolution को describe किया, evolution की क्या process रहेगी. In that, we are going to learn about 3 eminent scientist theories. One is Lamarckism, proposed by Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. Second is Darwinism, proposed by Darwin. And the third one is modern theory of evolution, which is in which there will be contribution of many scientists. But this is the current theory we are following. And especially, I request all of you to pay attention towards the thought process and of scientists and understand this is what is science. Science is not about mugging up and shutting down our eyes and looking into the books and recapitulating the data. It's about opening every horizon and look into something which is not visible by the common person. Okay, so with that, I'm going to conclude my lecture today. Anyone, any doubts?
Ma'am,
Bolo Priyanshi. Priyanshi,
wisdom
add something?
wisdom tooth भी एक vestigial organ हुआ ना?
नहीं, wisdom tooth is not a vestigial organ. Vestigial organ is something जो आपके ancestor में पाए गए और आप में नहीं. तो ये प्रूफ होनी चाहिए ना, तभी तो मैंने आपको pineal gland का बोला कि there is no direct proof, तो ये कभी एग्जाम में मत लिखना. Ancestor मतलब यहाँ पे मम्मी पापा नहीं बेटा. Ancestor मतलब evolutionary ancestor जो कई साल पहले थे. Your mama papa is Homo sapiens, you are also Homo sapiens. So categorically there is no difference. Although हम बात कर रहे हैं कि generation gap आ गया है भाई, थोड़ा process अलग है, but biologically all of us belong to the same species and genes. तो ancestor मतलब यहाँ पे mom dad के बारे में नहीं बात कर रहे हैं. We are talking about far ago the ancestors exist in the earth. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other doubts, anyone? This was a very relevant question, Priyanshi. क्योंकि it's true that I didn't specify ancestor, तो ये confusion होना जायज है. Any other doubts, anyone? So I give you one day time to think about your doubt and come up with all doubts you can have, and we will meet again on Friday for the lecture. Okay. So bye to all of you.
Bye,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am.